Footage shows the incident that led to the arrest of Dallas native and Olympian sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson.
Sha'Carri Richardson's career just went through more turbulence than Spirit Airlines on discount fuel. When TMZ hit publish on the leaked Seattle-Tacoma surveillance tape, jaws hit the floor faster than carry-ons falling out of an overhead bin. The uncut footage was the smoking gun nobody thought would see daylight. There she was, Sha'Carri Richardson, sprint queen, Olympic hopeful, unapologetic icon, caught on crystal clear airport CCTV doing what prosecutors politely call domestic battery, and what the rest of us just call girl no.
I didn't do anything wrong, but the fact that you guys are doing this to me and he's the man in this situation, I'm gonna comply. I am. I'm not gonna argue with you at all. But you have me on camera, but at the same time, what he has on camera, I have my phone, show something different. So if I need to
Jen, her boyfriend, looked like a man auditioning for a hostage negotiation role. Arms up, backing away, doing everything short of waving a white flag. And yet, Sha'Carri still pushed, shoved, and lunged like she was defending a gold medal nobody handed her. The footage didn't just confirm the rumors, it nuked her alibi.
Middle of an airport, and he is visibly trying to walk away, and she's like pushing him and like hitting him in the middle of a fucking airport in broad daylight. Like, as someone that's quite literally afraid to even record my
Sha'Carri had downplayed it as a misunderstanding, but the video said otherwise. The shift was cinematic. One moment cooperative, the next minute accusatory, defensive, spiraling. If you muted the clip, you'd think it was a reality TV elimination episode. She denied touching him, then immediately suggested he should be arrested. Plot twist, he never even raised a hand. Forget dramatic sit-downs, tearful meetings, or arbitration hearings.
I feel like it was just a sucky situation all around. Like, I don't feel as if like she should have been arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, people have discussions and emotions and stuff like that. And she have like things that she need to work on for herself, of course. And so do I, so do you, like everybody. And I'm the type of guy, like, I'm in the business of just like extending grace and mercy and love. And I feel as if like I don't try to look at obstacles either. Like, I just look at like situations like this to just like, you know, take a step back.
Team USA hit send on the digital guillotine, one curt, soulless message with the emotional depth of a parking ticket. The subject line may as well have been, "You're done. That's it. No warning, no appeal." Just a single email effectively yeeting her Olympic dreams into the spam folder of history. The tone wasn't just cold, it was Arctic. If you held the email up to your ear, you'd probably hear wind whistling through an empty tundra. Inside sources say the Federation had already been fed up. The THC suspension in Tokyo, the complaints from teammates, the diva behavior backstage.
I do have my ID. Yeah, but I will definitely leave him alone. There's nothing that I want to do with him anymore. Like I said, it was a relationship thing. I needed to get my stuff out of his bag.
Are you guys on the same flight? Or?
We are later on in the day, because our flight ended up getting delayed. We supposed to be leaving around this time of day, but the flight got canceled, so the flight doesn't leave until 10 p.m.-ish.
This wasn't a snap decision. It was the final straw, snapping under the weight of 1,000 eye rolls. And oh boy, the sponsors noticed. Nike, Sprite, Hyperease, all tagged, all dragged. Twitter warriors went full courtroom prosecutor, demanding corporate America sever ties. Brands terrified of TikTok cancel mobs reportedly huddled with lawyers overnight. Insiders whispered that endorsement contracts were suddenly paused, reviewed, or quietly sent through a shredder. The money machine that had once embraced Sha'Carri's bold, unapologetic image was now one scandal away from ghosting her like Team USA did. Even Christian Coleman's awkward, "she didn't mean it" defense couldn't soften the blow. The more he spoke, the more people cringed. One viral comment captured the mood perfectly. "This isn't love, this is a DV victim defending his abuser." Brutal, accurate, chilling.
People down your name, discourage you, and everything else. So, what I'm saying to y'all right now is don't go around saying things that you don't understand, that you don't know. And I sit here standing in my truth.
Back in 2021, the Tokyo Games were supposed to be Sha'Carri's coronation. She had the nails, the lashes, the swagger, the speed, basically a Marvel superhero in spikes. But instead of becoming America's golden girl, she became the first Olympic star to get benched for a plant that's legally sold in vending machines in some states. Yes, cannabis, the world's mildest rebellion, the same stuff your cousin Dave smokes before mowing the lawn. Her test came back positive for THC metabolites and boom, she was out of the 100M. Then, like salt on the wound, she got dropped from the 4x100 relay too. The punishment sparked outrage. Really? Weed? Fans pointed out that cannabis is not exactly a performance enhancer unless the event is competitive snacking. But rules were rules, and Sha'Carri's Olympic dream went up in smoke, literally. The suspension was a cultural flashpoint. Supporters screamed injustice, critics said she knew better, and memes flew faster than sprinters off the block. For Richardson, it was the first time she became less of a runner and more of a headline. What should have been her crowning glory became the beginning of a pattern. Self-sabotage dressed up as bad luck.
Letting you know who I am, haven't put my hands on him. We had an argument. I will be honest about that. An argument, and that's pretty much it. The argument, pretty much, he's a liar. He lied about a couple things that's personally, just in a relationship. I pretty much, officers can understand what a relationship is about, but he lied. He's a liar, and that was something that I kind of just grasped, and emotionally, I'm just like, bet, you do your thing, but you're asking me for things that is within my possession, and for my right, I don't have to give it to you because it's in my possession. But when it comes to the point that I saw that he chose to make it more about the police and things of that nature, that showed that he made a choice. So I just want to be more professional and just come professionally and let you guys know, like, hey, relationship thing, have no problem, and walking up to you guys. So I'm not hiding. Right. Mm-hmm.
Was there any type of physical assault?
No, I didn't touch him. He didn't touch me. I will be honest.
Tokyo wasn't just one race lost, it was the first lap in what looks like an ongoing relay of controversy. And now, with the airport scandal stacked on top, people are wondering if she'll ever finish the race she started. Here's the thing about sports drama. Usually, when one of your own goes down, teammates circle the wagons. They post supportive tweets, drop heart emojis on Instagram, or at the very least, throw in a vague sending love post. But when Sha'Carri got booted, crickets. Not a single word from the women of Team USA. No quotes, no retweets, not even a pity like. The silence was louder than any statement. In elite track, where loyalty is currency, the lack of support screamed volumes. They'd had enough too. Rumors swirled long before the airport fiasco. Teammates allegedly complained about her attitude, the diva energy, the lack of respect for coaches. To outsiders, the absence of solidarity was shocking. To insiders, it was confirmation. Sha'Carri wasn't just isolated, she was iced out.
Y'all gonna say y'all just talking as is anyway. Y'all just care about only what entertains you guys, and I should have known that because I work. That's why I look like this. Okay, but I should have known that before I literally got on here and used the platform that honestly receives negativity more than they receive anything else. So I'm coming out here to say that I take responsibility in my actions, what I did in my relationship, and everything else the case may be.
Her competitors in other countries, they watched in glee. Her teammates at home, they watched in silence. And silence, in PR terms, is deadly. The fans noticed, commentators noticed, sponsors noticed. If Richardson was looking for allies, the message was clear. She'd burned every bridge, and now she was running alone. Fastest woman alive, sure, but apparently too fast for anyone to catch up to her and back her up. Days after the arrest, Christian Coleman, aka the boyfriend at the center of the airport chaos, popped up with a shaky video message defending Richardson. It should have been a love letter in disguise, but instead, it played like a bad audition tape for Dateline viewers didn't see devotion. They saw discomfort. Eyes darting, shoulders tense, tone wavering. If his body language were a Yelp review, it'd be 1 star. Do not recommend. He insisted Sha'Carri wasn't violent, that the world was misunderstanding the incident, but the problem, TMZ's video had already dropped. Everyone had seen the shove, the push, the boyfriend trying to de-escalate.
Nationally, we're keeping it Jamaica, or we're going to keep it
Jamaica. Yeah.
No, I don't, because there's a lot of them hiding. And yes, me have to call out everybody, because me, I'm going to keep it real and talk my story, because it's my story.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. No, a lot of them down there hide, because, you know, it's not accepted, and them can't tell them parents because them can't be true to themselves, which is why me I try to promote being true to yourself, regardless of what everybody is going to think, and regardless of how you feel like this is going to make somebody else feel, or you feel at the end of the day, people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Christian's defense felt less like truth and more like damage control, or worse, manipulation. The internet pounced, calling it a textbook case of a DV victim rationalizing abuse. The more he defended her, the worse it looked. His uncomfortable and evasive vibe only fueled the narrative that he was scared to contradict her. Fans didn't buy the romance spin. Commenters weren't fooled by the soft words. In the court of public opinion, his defense wasn't a lifeline for Sha'Carri. It was proof of just how deep the toxicity ran. At the end of the day, Christian's shaky video didn't protect her legacy, it shredded his credibility. Because nothing says this is fine quite like a man looking like he'd rather be anywhere else than defending his girlfriend's assault charges on camera.
being toxic, we start out that way, right? Because we start out young as fuck, 19 and 21. We don't really know, you know me, I say we don't really find we grew up, we already come from different culture backgrounds and the same story.
I take responsibility in my actions, what I did in my relationship.
I'm gonna go actually to jail right now. You actually gonna go to jail. Christian, I'm about to go to jail because of you right now. So are y'all gonna arrest him? I'm planning on pressing charges on him then. Y'all didn't see me put hands on me, but y'all saw me put hands on him. So okay.
Janique Brown. Seattle-Tacoma International Airport has seen flight delays, lost luggage, and more Starbucks cups than you can count, but nothing quite like this. Onlookers watched in disbelief as Sha'Carri Richardson, Sprint Queen, turned the terminal into an episode of Jerry Springer Live. The footage didn't just show tension, it showed Richardson shoving and striking at her boyfriend, Christian, who, by all accounts, was just trying to walk away like a man who suddenly regretted booking a round trip. Witnesses said it was messy, loud, and impossible to ignore. Imagine being in line for a $9 airport pretzel while a world-class sprinter is throwing domestic drama 10 feet from the Cinnabon. That's not just embarrassing, it's career suicide in 4K. And while Sha'Carri seemed intent on making a scene, Christian stayed calm, passive, and almost robotic in his retreat, making the power imbalance painfully obvious. There's instant verdicts, and every iPhone camera in the terminal turned into a judge, jury, and executioner. By the time police arrived, the internet already had its verdict, guilty of fumbling the bag.
Okay. So if you don't mind, can I step over here so I can check my ID?
That's fine.
Awesome, thank you. Hi, Cece. So you hear me, right? So this is the position that Christian Coleman puts me into, okay? Because he's a coward, and I don't want anything to do with him at this point going forward. My name is Sha'Carri Richardson. Have no problem with...
Here's where the scandal got truly Shakespearean. At first, Richardson played the whole thing off as a misunderstanding. Just a couple spat. Cute, relatable, harmless. But once cops started asking questions, her story evolved faster than her 100-meter sprint. First, I didn't touch him. Next, he's lying. Then the Olympic flip. Actually, he should be arrested. If it wasn't so serious, it'd be comedy gold. Watching her pivot blame in real time felt like someone mashing the skip button on a bad Netflix drama, and every denial came with just enough defensiveness to scream guilt. The shift in her demeanor, from chill and compliant to hostile and finger-pointy, was all the proof skeptics needed that she wasn't telling the truth. By the time she dropped the line, "I'm going to comply," it sounded less like respect for authority and more like the sarcastic side of a teenager told to clean their room. The contradictions weren't just sloppy, they were fatal to her credibility. If the footage hadn't already buried her story, her own words did. This line deserves to be carved into the Mount Rushmore of gaslighting. Imagine, you've just been arrested for shoving your boyfriend in public, you're caught on camera, and instead of owning it, you tell the guy it's his fault. That's not just audacity, That's delusion at world record pace. The phrase summed up everything wrong with her response. It wasn't accountability, it wasn't contrition, it was pure blame shifting. And for Christian, who had done everything short of sprinting out of the terminal to avoid conflict, the jab landed like a sucker punch. Viewers immediately recognized the manipulation. One viral comment nailed it: classic DV victim moment blamed by the abuser for their own suffering. Brutal, but accurate. And here's the kicker. This wasn't whispered behind closed doors. It was caught in real time, in an airport, with cops standing right there. There's Bold, and then there's Sha'Carri Bold, blaming someone else for the consequences of your own shove in front of witnesses and surveillance cameras. That single line didn't just ruin her defense. It crystallized the entire scandal. In that moment, Sha'Carri Richardson didn't just lose credibility. She sprinted straight past sympathy. Past, we've seen athletes fall before, but rarely do we get the full IMAX edition of the downfall. The uncut Seattle airport video was that blockbuster. Forget blurry phone clips or he said, she said testimonies. This was crystal clear CCTV footage, time-stamped, framed, and broadcasted like the universe itself wanted to end her PR career. The tape played out like a slow-motion train wreck. Sha'Carri shoving Christian, him backing away like a man avoiding spoilers in a Marvel theater, and her doubling down again and again while cops stood there with body cams rolling. The contradictions between her story and the reality were so blatant, you could almost hear the law order gavel in the background. She had claimed compliance. The video showed defiance. She claimed she didn't touch him. The video showed contact, repeated, intentional, undeniable. And the cherry on top? Christian never once retaliated. In fact, his calm composure contrasted so starkly with her aggression that it flipped the entire sympathy meter against her. When the footage hit TMZ, public opinion sprinted faster than she ever did. Overnight, she wasn't the tragic prodigy or the misunderstood star. She was the villain. And once you're the villain on TMZ, the court of public opinion doesn't even wait for trial. It was game over before the dust cleared. The airport incident wasn't a lightning strike. It was the final storm in a forecast everyone had already seen coming. Before Seattle, there was Tokyo. Before Tokyo, there were whispers in the locker room. Teammates grumbled about her attitude, her diva antics, her open disrespect for coaches. On the track, she was a bullet. Off the track, she was a bomb waiting to go off. The cannabis suspension in 2021? People framed it as a tragic one-off, but insiders muttered it wasn't just about weed. It was about rules, responsibility, and the fact that Richardson played by none. Even her public image, as bold and unapologetic as it was, often blurred into arrogance. Fans cheered her brashness, but teammates rolled their eyes. By the time the airport tape surfaced, the narrative was already written. This wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern organizations don't drop their star athletes lightly. But Team USA didn't just drop her. They excommunicated her with a single email colder than an Antarctic ice bath. The message was clear. They weren't punishing an incident, they were ending a cycle. And that cycle, the arrests, the suspensions, the sponsor drama, the diva behavior, it wasn't just self-destruction. It was Sha'Carri proving time and time again that speed doesn't outrun consequence. In the end, she didn't trip over an opponent. She tripped over herself. Ah yes, the classic move, nothing says true love. Like defending the person who just made the TSA checkpoint feel like a WWE SmackDown promo. Days after the arrest, Christian Coleman decides to open his Notes app of doom and defend Richardson. And it wasn't giving loyalty, it was giving hostage video. His words felt less like support and more like someone whispering, "Blink twice if you need help," behind the camera. The internet immediately clocked it. When your girlfriend is trending for assault and your response is to publicly cape for her, you don't look noble. You look like her press secretary. Let's be real, this defense wasn't organic. It had the fingerprints of manipulation smeared all over it. Abusers thrive on flipping narratives. I didn't hurt him, he's just sensitive. And in comes Christian, nervous and shaky, basically handing her a free character reference. Problem? This tonal whiplash is exactly why the footage hit so hard. Viewers could see the gears turning cooperative when she thought she could charm her way out, defensive when the law didn't bend. The shift was damning because it exposed her strategy: play sweet when convenient, play victim when cornered. Her denials weren't just flimsy, they were Olympic-level gaslighting. She didn't just say, "I didn't touch him." She went a step further and suggested he should be arrested instead. That's not defense, that's deflection on steroids. That's the real kicker. In 2025, public opinion isn't just about clout, it's about cash. And once your sponsors start backpedaling, it's no longer a scandal, it's a career collapse.